You do not have to do anything to be worthy. I had a moment this week where I completely forgot something that I know to be true. I was surrounded by all these people that just seemed so accomplished and cool and confident. And I started feeling like, what am I doing here? What am I contributing? What cool things do I have to offer? And it actually got pretty dark. And it just felt so bad and it felt so true that I'm just not worthy of being here. I'm not really worthy of even being, happy, period. I'm not worthy of, I'm just not a worthy person. What followed though was a huge shift and just sort of turned the whole thing on its head. So let me tell you all about it. Now, here's the trap that we fall into. By now, many of us may recognize that we are basically programmed to measure our worth by our productivity, our career, our status, our like social media followers, and just success and recognition. And we know the saying that comparison is the thief of joy. And man, is that true. But we still probably fall into doing it automatically anyway. I find myself just instantly going right back to it every time I see somebody who's doing something cool or looks, really beautiful or whatever it is. And I keep perpetuating the belief that once I accomplish enough, then I'll finally deserve to feel at peace. Once I get, my physique right, once I finally figure out how to not age or whatever, um, that day never comes. Because even if you like where you are compared to another, that's only setting yourself up to not like where you land when you inevitably compare yourself to someone who has more, because there's always somebody who has or does more. And the ego is never satisfied. Remember that. The ego is never satisfied. So if you're, basing your self-worth on what your mind, your ego is telling you based on what some, you know, moving target of what you're supposed to be, then, it's just totally futile. So here is the reminder. You do not have to justify your existence. Period. You were never asked to earn your right to exist. That's a total myth. You already belong by virtue of being here. You have a place here. Your life has value even if you check nothing off your to-do list. Your worth is not on the other side of some achievement. When I do Reiki for people, I like to tap into their like true essence, their higher self. And every time I always see or feel or perceive like some variation of this incredibly magnificent, like huge, magical, like glowing energy. Like it is way beyond anything that my mind is actually fully capable of even grasping. But from what I can perceive, it's just a fraction of what our true spirit and soul is. If even a fraction of that is the case, then we got nothing to worry about. We are just so incredible as is, and everything else that feels bad is just an illusion, kind of keeping us from being our true selves. there's nothing we could add to our true being. We couldn't make it any more perfect or better. There's nothing we could add. Our true beings are holy, and anything we experience that is less than that is just a distortion in our field that's like caused by conclusions that we made, probably long ago in traumatic events and, through adaptive strategies and so on. But my point is, I got all swept up in my ego's need to be accepted, which is so natural, of course, and to just feel good enough and like I measure up. And, the truth is, I don't have to do shit to be deserving of love or to take up space on this planet. Like the same way that my cat, Louie, does not owe me a damn thing to be like worshipped and adored by me. I love him because he is himself. And I'm pretty sure he wouldn't, purr more or snuggle me more if I advanced in life in some way. I wouldn't suddenly be like more worthy of love to that true, in the eyes of your authentic self. Like, I believe that that is how the universe, source, God feels about us. Like, we don't have to do anything. We're just by being our authentic self. We're just like more than enough. That's what actually matters. And what people actually need, is not somebody who's impressive. Think about the people that you love the most or whose company you prefer the most. And then like ask yourself, was it because they had the like coolest career, or were they the most productive and that's how they're fun? I mean, sure, it's fun to be around accomplished people that inspire you, but what feels good isn't because they're impressive in some way or made the most money. No, it's something like they were listening, they were present, they made you laugh, they believed in you or something, or they made you feel safe, and just like had love to offer. That's what stays with us. That's real. That's how, we remember how we feel around someone, not what's on their resume or whatever. Like the most wonderful exchanges that I have ever had with people are with the ones that are like truly present and truly listen and are kind, or they make me laugh. That real connection has nothing to do with how impressive they are. So even though my ego might want the approval of those kinds of people, like that's my ego, and boy does it get like deeply upset. But like, who cares? It doesn't feel good to be chasing that status driven stuff. Like, it just doesn't feel good. It's not what our authentic self craves. So of course it feels bad. So the scenario I found myself in that I've been referencing is, I was just so distraught. I was on this movie set doing background work. I was so distraught, because I'm the lowest. As a background actor, you are the lowest position in that production world. You're like the lowest on the totem pole, and it's kind of humbling. But everyone around me seemed to know exactly what they were doing, and they had careers, like, that confidence, direction. The girl doing my hair was just in her career, like living this awesome life, and was so good at what she's doing and having fun, I presumed. I just felt like I have nothing to contribute. I just concluded that I don't really belong anywhere. It felt just deeply sad and so real that I was inferior to people with real jobs. Like I go to that a lot. Um, just that's our programming. So I feel insignificant around people like that. Um, I forgot that just my energy is my contribution. Just completely forgot. I forget this probably on a daily or hourly basis. It's my kindness or my presence or my just being myself, my encouraging words or whatever. These are gifts. These are these are plenty to share with people. These are meaningful gifts. This is such a beautiful concept. Like many of us really believe if I can just find my purpose, but you know, then I'll finally be like, okay, I can finally like relax. I can finally be allowed to enjoy life or whatever. That's been my entire life. I have been chasing something like that. But what if purpose is just who and how you are being, showing kindness, just even being and emitting this energy can be healing, can be powerful. Being authentic, being present, creating beauty just by, you know, whatever you curate around you, whether it's physical or just energetically, offering peace because maybe, you meditate and you just have a presence that's, that people enjoy. Like, oh my God, how beautiful is that? Listening, deeply listening, just honesty, like the actions will naturally arise from that kind of thing. The actions that like are meaningful, that you will take you places in life, because life is about, you know, doing cool things, sure, and experiencing all kinds of things, but like it's not because I'll become lovable once I accomplish enough. It just is like I'm already love. What would love naturally do today? How does life want to move through me today, or where does it want to take me? Or it's just being more of a channel for that, rather than like I'm gonna finally figure it out and get it right and be, like who society says I should be or whatever. So there's like such a difference between being driven by love and then the fear of not being enough. Because fear is like, I have to prove myself, I have to catch up, and I need to become somebody. And love says, I already belong. I mean, it's just like this confidence that I already matter. Now I can create from joy instead of lack. Like, what do you think is going to be created? How much better is your creation going to be when it's from a place of joy and worthiness? That just changes everything. And the same actions can come from completely different energy. One is going to be exhausting and just feel awful, and the other one is inspiring. So, once again, here is your reminder, and God knows I need to hear it every single day. You don't have to earn your place in the world. You don't have to become the better version of yourself before you're worthy of love. Feeling worthy of love will probably result in becoming a better version. But you can't improve upon the perfection of your soul. It's created by God. Your existence is sacred. Your presence matters. Your presence matters. Coming from that awareness, just come from that awareness and then see what creations or experiences emerge just because it's your authentic expression. You being a frequency that contributes love to the universe. That's everything. Not from trying to prove that you're enough, because you already are. That's my reminder for today, and I hope to see you again soon.